Good evening from New York. For years, we have known much of what America's government did in the name of American values. Beatings, sleep deprivation, stress positions, waterboarding. Tonight, in our fifth story on the countdown, we now know what America's previous president and his Department of Justice specifically authorized in 4 newly released memos that constitute a clinically, carefully worded torture manual. But perhaps worst of all, as I'll address in a special comment later this evening, we know, too, that the new president, the one who has promised change, has now decided, much as Nixon declared that when the president does it, that means it is not illegal, that in effect, when the CIA gets permission from the Justice Department, that also means it is not illegal. President Obama and his Attorney General today announcing immunity for the hands-on torturers, careful to limit this immunity only to those torturers, they say, interrogators who followed the rules of torture. The key problem, as we will outline, is that those rules were written by, of, and for the people of the Bush administration who wanted to torture, who wanted any rationale available to expand presidential power. 6 of those officials now under investigation in Spain. But as he did with the torturers themselves, today Mr. Obama declared no interest in pursuing those who wrote the rules of torture.
You know, obviously, I've been very clear that Guantanamo is to be closed, that some of the practices of enhanced interrogation techniques, I think, ran counter to American values and American traditions. So I've put an end to these policies. I'm a strong believer that it's important to look forward and not backwards, and to remind ourselves that we do have very real security threats out there. You know, I have not had direct conversations with the Spanish government about these issues. My team has been in communications with them. I think that we are moving a process forward here in the United States to understand what happened, but also to focus on how we make sure that the manner in which we operate currently is consistent with our values and our traditions. And so, you know, my sense is that this will be worked out over time.
The 4 memos out today constitute the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Rosetta Stone of the Bush-Cheney legal rationale, their fig leaf of legalese to silence honorable dissenters even in their own administration, to justify the same precise actions previous executives prosecuted. 1 memo from Assistant Attorney General Jay Bybee to the CIA. 3 from Acting Assistant Attorney General Stephen Bradbury, head of the Justice Office of Legal Counsel, also to the CIA in May of 2005. Quoting Bybee, August 1st, 2002, responding to a CIA question about techniques for interrogating Abu Zubaydah. A variety of stress positions may be used. Sleep deprivation may be used. You have orally informed us that you would not deprive Zubaydah of sleep for more than 11 days at a time. You would like to place Zubaydah in a cramped confinement box with an insect. You have informed us that he appears to have a fear of insects. And then the torturer's trademark. Finally, you would like to use a technique called the waterboard. In this procedure, the individual is bound securely to an inclined bench, which is approximately 4 feet by 7 feet. The individual's feet are generally elevated. A cloth is placed over the forehead and eyes. Water is then applied to the cloth in a controlled manner. As this is done, the cloth is lowered until it covers both the nose and mouth. Airflow is slightly restricted for 20 to 40 seconds due to the presence of the cloth. This causes an increase in carbon dioxide level in the individual's blood. This increase in the carbon dioxide level stimulates increased effort to breathe. This effort plus the cloth produces the perception of suffocation and incipient panic, i.e., the perception of drowning. To continue, it is likely that this procedure would not last more than 20 minutes in any one application. Even the Bush Department of Justice concluding, quote, "We are unsure whether these acts may constitute a threat of severe physical pain or suffering," the textbook definition of torture. So why authorize it? To violate the statute, an individual must have the specific intent to inflict severe pain or suffering, which the CIA told Justice it did not intend. Let's turn to MSNBC political analyst Howard Fineman, senior Washington correspondent and political columnist for Newsweek magazine. Howard, good evening.
Hi, Keith.
2 administrations to discuss here tonight. We'll start with Mr. Bush's. They claimed they had legal authorization. These are the memos that justified that claim. As of today, did they not just succeed?
Well, Keith, I read most of the material, and I would encourage any viewer to go on any number of websites, including the ACLU's, read these memos. It is a window into a heart of darkness that shouldn't exist, and I wish we didn't have to see, but it's good that we are seeing. The sheer dull mechanics of this is almost to a lunatic degree. They get so specific as to try to, I think, mislead themselves away from what the obvious truth is, which is that some of these techniques, alone or in combination, and by the way, they were concerned about the combination of techniques, do amount to a violation of federal law. Our federal law says that we are not allowed as a country to inflict severe physical suffering or severe mental pain or suffering. I believe those are the exact words of the statute. And if you read these memos and take them as a whole, you can see that's precisely what we were out to do. Eric Holder, by the way, the Attorney General, has said that waterboarding itself did amount to torture. The President has, as he said, banned some of these procedures, so it's all right there in boring legalese and bureaucraties.
And it is the projection that Terry Gilliam made in his movie Brazil about the institutionalization of torture, where the guy comes in his three-piece suit and then gets out his tools, and as long as he's following the textbook, he can send you a bill for what he does at the end of it. To continue on about the Bush administration for a second, what did these memos now do for that legacy that has been so concerned, that the former members of this administration have been so concerned with, especially lately? What does it mean when you have your Justice Department explain in great detail, and now for all time, how you will torture people?
Well, you know, when Barack Obama was in Iraq in a surprise visit the other week, he congratulated the troops for bringing democracy to Iraq, which was a little noticed statement by which he, to some extent, validated the Bush theory of the world. But these memos will forever be associated with the image of the president, because there's so much that's vivid here, however legalistic it seems, that I think any serious student of history will look at the president and they will see these scenes in their mind at the same time.
To Mr. Obama, to his Attorney General, Mr. Holder, are they closing the door utterly on prosecutions, or are they laying a groundwork for targeting those who somehow went beyond these admittedly bogus Bush rules, and is that a distinction they should be making?
Well, not if you believe that waterboarding amounted to a violation of the federal law and was torture. But sure, they're splitting a hair here in case there happened to be some people who went beyond even these rules. But I don't think that was their main objective here. I think their main objective was to try to make peace with the CIA and with the intelligence community, as well as with critics of these policies, by getting these memos out, and there was a big argument within the administration about doing that, getting the memos out to end the mystery about those, while at the same time saying we're not going to prosecute anybody.
Who made this decision? Was it the President, or was it the Attorney General, and whose decision was it to make?
Well, I asked that of the White House a few minutes ago, and they confirmed what Brian Williams said on NBC, which is that it was the President himself. The President himself made all of these decisions. He reviewed them all. Interestingly, Eric Holder might have been willing, if he'd wanted to suggest prosecution. Eric Holder did not put the President in that position. The President made the decision both to release the memos, which, as I say, was controversial inside the administration, and to draw the line of no prosecutions. The result of this is going to be increased pressure for there to be congressional hearings, but as Patrick Leahy, the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, told me the last time we talked about this a few days ago, unless Republicans are willing to go along, it's going to be very hard to hold those hearings, so let's see if any Republicans are willing to step forward.
Not holding my breath, not to use an analogy that's unfortunate for the topic, but there it is. Howard Fineman of Newsweek and MSNBC, as always. Great thanks, Howard.
Thank you, Keith.